Good morning, everyone. Time is now 10:06 a.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. I'm David Doe, Commissioner and Chair of the Taxi and Limousine Commission, and I'm joined by our Board of Commissioners, Commissioners Mitchell, Commissioners Sorrentino, Bierstein, Bader, Kaufman, and Chan. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Some announcements first. I hope everyone had a happy Earth Day last week. We celebrated some milestones here at the TLC. We recently announced that with DCAS that the TLC will be the first city agency to be fully zero emissions by 2027. This is in addition to our high volume fleet going zero emissions or wheelchair accessible by 2030 under the Green Rides Initiative. The regulator will also be zero emission, which is how it should be. So every vehicle that a TLC officer uses or our staff members uses will be zero emissions by 2027. We're still a year ahead of schedule with Green Rides, with more than 20% of our high volume trips already in wheelchair accessible vehicles or zero emission. That said, 2030 is not far away. The WAVE and EV trip requirements will be increasing to 25% by the end of 2026, then jumping to 40% in 2027 and 20% more each year after that until we reach 100%. As those requirements increase, it means the high volume drivers who have switched to EVs or wheelchair accessible vehicles can get more trips, while those who wait longer to switch may end up getting less. So if you're on the market for a new vehicle, switching sooner rather than later can pay off. Right now is a particularly good time to get an EV. We have a lot more fast chargers in the city than we did 2 years ago, including 24 new ones at JFK, with many more coming across the city. The $7,000 federal tax incentive for new EVs is still in effect, as well as $4,000 incentive for a used one. As we anticipated in our initial electrification report, the price of used EVs have been dropping dramatically. So that's a good option to consider as well. I still hear from drivers about plates. If you want a plate, WAVE plates are available. That's a wheelchair accessible vehicle. That's another great way to get on the Green Rides track and stay ahead of the curve. We also have free financial planning services through our Owner Driver Resource Center, which can help you develop a plan for your small business, keeping it healthy and moving it forward. Now on to today's rules. Today, we vote on a rule proposal and to enact a new pilot program that will help small Medallion owners convert to wheelchair accessible vehicles. Last month, we held a hearing on a rule proposal designed to support our Vision Zero initiatives by increasing penalties for stationary and non-hazardous moving violations and to consider certain out-of-state convictions for fitness revocation hearings. We heard from the industry, the drivers and the disability advocates, and we made some changes for the final version of the rule. This administration always takes public comments incredibly seriously, and we made many adjustments. The penalty for the first 80-13A1 and 80-13A2 violation will remain unchanged to include a fine, but no points and no remedial course. The penalty for the second violation within a 15-month period will include a fine and 1 point, a change from the inclusion of 2 points and a remedial driver education course, in addition to a fine contained in the initial rule proposal. And the penalty for the third violation within a 15-month period will include an increased fine and a remedial driver education course, a change from the inclusion of 2 points in addition to a fine contained in the initial rule proposal. This penalty structure balances Vision Zero safety initiatives and effective enforcement strategies for the protection of roadway users, with the operational flexibility necessary for real-time road conditions and financial strain faced by drivers. TLC also remains committed to working with our regulated industries and partner enforcement agencies to address enforcement and logistical challenges with the design and share use of public roadways, including the development of relief stations, the safe and pickup and discharge of passengers, and customer service. I'd like to now invite Cindi Davidson, our Assistant Commissioner for Program Planning and Management, to present an exciting new pilot program and partnership to help small Medallion owners convert to wheelchair-accessible vehicles. As she's preparing, I've also mentioned in the past that we're actively seeking as many grants and partnerships as possible to help our Medallion owners with the added cost of converting to wheelchair-accessible vehicles. This is exactly one of those programs. It comes to us with the tremendous thanks to Beta Vita Psi and the New York Taxi Workers Alliance, who played a critical role in bringing this opportunity to attention. So I want to thank many of the New York Taxi Worker Alliance members here today for their hard work in getting us across the finish line. Beta V's knowledge, relationships, and above all, unwavering commitment to serving the driver community made this pilot possible. We are grateful for that, and we commend the New York Taxi Workers Alliance with their advocacy and always making us aware of opportunities to better the lives of TLC drivers. So thank you. I also like to do a couple of other special thanks with New York State Development Corporation and the Governor's Office for providing the $5 million that you'll hear a little bit about in a second, as well as the Disability Opportunity Fund, but also commissioners on this commission as well, including Paul, who has pushed tremendously to make us find a little bit of money to support small Medallion owners convert to wheelchair accessible vehicles. And so I just want to thank all the commissioners deeply. And lastly, before you present, I'd like to thank you, Cindi, and your team for your hard work in putting this pilot program together. Without your coordination throughout this entire process with DOF, with the state, and with the TLC, we wouldn't get here. And so now I'll turn it over to you for your presentation.
Program planning and management. Try again. Can you guys hear me now? All right, let's start over. Thank you, Commissioner Doe. And good morning, commissioners. My name is Cindi Davidson, and I serve as the Assistant Commissioner of Program and Planning and Management in the Division of Operations, People, and Innovation at the TLC. Today, I will be presenting the Accessible Taxi Loan Assistance Service Pilot, or what we like to call ATLAS. The TLC is partnering with the Taxi Workers Alliance, the Disability Opportunity Fund, and the Empire State Development Group to expand the fleet of accessible taxis and support the taxi sector by offering low-interest vehicle loans to small business Medallion owners. And just to let you know, I will also be describing each slide in the presentation as well for those who are joining us online. So this slide is our title slide and shows a picture of an accessible taxi. All right. This slide talks about where we are now and less text. So today there are 4,871 accessible taxis in service. This accounts for 48% of the active fleet, and the number of accessible taxis will continue to grow. Accessible taxis, as I think we're all aware, can be very expensive after the vehicle is converted and hacked up with the required systems for service. Buying an accessible taxi can be almost twice as expensive as a Camry or non-accessible vehicle. Depending on the model, it can cost nearly $99,000. Earlier this year, the Commission adopted rules to increase the hack-up grant from $14,000 to $20,000 through the Taxi Improvement Fund. Even with the $20,000 grant, purchasing an accessible taxi is a significant expense and can be extremely challenging for small business Medallion owners. The next slide shows pictures of our partners that helped set up this program. Now, as Commissioner Doe shared, the Taxi Workers Alliance came to us with an idea to lower the cost of purchasing an accessible taxi by partnering with the Disability Opportunity Fund, and I want to thank you. The Taxi Workers Alliance has been a long-standing advocate for professional taxi and FHV drivers with over 28,000 members. The Disability Opportunity Fund is a national community development financial institution, or CDFI, that has increased access for individuals with disabilities through financing community-based projects and programs. Together, They proposed that with some additional funding, the Disability Opportunity Fund could provide low-cost vehicle loans to eligible small business medallion owners. Through the advocacy of both the Taxi Workers Alliance and the Disability Opportunity Fund, we were able to secure $5 million in funding from Empire State Development to establish the Accessible Taxi Loan Assistance Service, and I will now refer to that as ATLAS moving forward. Additionally, the Disability Opportunity Fund was able to secure 100 accessible Toyota Siennas directly from Toyota, creating a one-stop shop for small business medallion owners. The next slide is an overview of the program and lists text. The current Taxi Improvement Fund grant structure offers a $20,000 grant upfront to offset the cost of purchasing an accessible taxi, plus $10,000 in operational payments over a 4-year period. The ATLAS pilot program will enable the TLC to offer a $30,000 grant upfront to be applied to the purchase of the vehicle at a much lower interest rate. Under this program, the $30,000 TIF grant will be redirected to the Disability Opportunity Fund, and they will offer loan terms at significantly lower rates than what medallion owners can get from traditional lenders. With the $30,000 grant, the Disability Opportunity Fund is expected to offer a $50,000 loan at the following rates: 3 years at 2% for $1,432 a month, 5 years at 3% with an $898 monthly loan payment, or 7 years at 4% with a monthly loan payment of $683. Small business medallion owners will be screened by the TLC to confirm eligibility, and the Disability Opportunity Fund will make the final loan determination. ATLAS will offer qualified medallion owners the option to buy a fully converted Toyota Sienna at a low rate, easing the financial burden of purchasing an accessible taxi. This next slide goes over medallion owner eligibility and list text. So the ATLAS pilot program is intended to help small business medallion owners, especially individuals who own and drive their own taxi. The criteria to be eligible for the program is as follows. First, the medallion owner can only own one medallion, and they must be the only named individual on the medallion. The owner can either be the sole proprietor or the principal shareholder of the corporate entity which owns the medallion. 2, the vehicle retirement date must be within 120 days of the pre-screening appointment with the TLC. And this is really to ensure that the grant funding is available for owners who are retiring their vehicles in the next couple of months. Then, consistent with the TIF program, owners must not have any outstanding monies with the TLC or a city agency, such as parking tickets. The fourth requirement is related to the Medallion Relief Program. So if the owner received a grant through MRP, that loan must be current and not in default. Finally, if approved, the owner must assign an agreement with the TLC that outlines the terms for participating in the ATLAS pilot program. This next slide goes over what this looks like for medallion owners and lists text. If I were a medallion owner and I wanted to join ATLAS, I need to make sure that I only own one medallion, that I'm the only individual or principal on the medallion according to TLC records, that my vehicle is set to retire in a few months, such as September 2025. I don't have any unpaid fines with the TLC or the city. And let's say if I did receive a grant through MRP, my payments on that loan are current. Now, if I'm approved by the TLC and the Disability Opportunity Fund, I'm willing to sign an agreement with the TLC to redirect my TIF payment as one lump sum of $30,000 and forgo operational payments to lower the cost of my vehicle loan. So the next slide goes over the program timeline and evaluation and list text. ATLAS is a pilot program that we're really excited about. TLC will be working side by side with the Disability Opportunity Fund to screen and approve eligible medallion owners and lower the cost of purchasing an accessible taxi. I want to stress the pilot program is designed to last 12 months, and there could be the option to extend the program in the future. The 12-month timeline will start when the first loan is approved by the Disability Opportunity Fund. During this time, TLC will evaluate trips completed by participating owners to show how the program has helped owners operate their small business on wheels. We will also monitor loan performance and the owner's ability to keep their medallion as a result of this program. The purpose of Atlas is to expand the accessible fleet and lower the cost of vehicle loans to support the economic vitality of the taxi sector. The next slide goes over the application process and lists text and an email address for more information. Now, we are still early on in the process, and we encourage the Commission to support the Atlas pilot program. For Medallion owners who are here today or listening online and want to learn more about the program, you are welcome to email the TLC Owner Driver Resource Center with your name, medallion number, and hack license. That email address is odrc@tlc.nyc.gov. While the Atlas application process is not ready yet, we expect to be up and running later this summer. TLC will email Medallion owners with more information about the screening and application process when Atlas officially launches this summer. I want to thank Commissioner Doe and our program partners for making Atlas possible. With your vision and collaboration, we can bring more accessible taxis on the road and support the small businesses that drive our city forward. Thank you, Commissioners. I'm happy to take any questions you may have. Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for that presentation. Just one question. How many slots are available for the pilot?
So we are starting with 100 slots, and that is really due to the available funding that we have through the Empire State Development Group and the Disability Opportunity Fund. If successful, we would love to expand the program.
What would allow it to expand? Like after the 100 is absorbed, what would allow for that?
Some additional funding to help the Disability Opportunity Fund provide these low-cost loans.
And Commissioner, just over the max loan term is about 7 years. And so over time, there will be some of those funds going back to both the state and DOF. And so maybe potentially we can leverage those funds to provide additional loans. But I also want to say that, we're about just a little over 100 away from meeting the 50% mark. And so we're very, very close. We're about 49% before we make 50% of the active wheelchair accessible fleet, 50% wheelchair accessible.
Hello, good morning. In the spirit and following the chair's acknowledgement of all the parties involved, particularly you, Deputy Commissioner, and Taxi Workers Alliance, it also seems like Toyota was was of big assistance here, so I certainly want to give them a shout out. But my question really specifically to them is, this has always been an issue, is the cost of these vehicles, which is why we're giving all this assistance. What was, or was there, I presume there was some adjustment in the cost of these vehicles that came from Toyota directly, and then of course through Hillside, which I think may now be owned by John Starks, but I don't know, these keeps on changing, these auto dealerships in Queens all the time. Whether or not, what was their contribution, if there was? Did they make, said, okay, if we do this deal, since we're doing all of these, we're going to reduce the price down? What was their actual contribution in this process?
Can I speak to that? Okay. So this is all, I wish the TLC could take credit for this, but this is actually all the Disability Opportunity Fund. So they have really deep ties in the work that they do. They have worked with the Paralympics and worked with Toyota previously with the Paralympics. So the head of the Disability Opportunity Fund was able to go directly to Toyota Corporate, and the Toyota Foundation, and tell them about this program and what we could do here, the potential here. Toyota agreed to secure 100 Toyota Siennas. They designated Hillside as the dealership, and these Toyota Siennas will be painted, partition installed, hacked up, converted by Braun Ability, and available at this lower interest rate. And my understanding is that through the work of the Disability Opportunity Fund, they were able to kind of bring these vehicles down lower the MSRP in those costs, and Toyota was supportive of that. Good question.
Sarah?
Thank you. Glad to see this excellent movement in this direction. While we've been talking about the increased number of WAVE vehicles, we've simultaneously been talking about the increased electrification of vehicles. In the conversations with Toyota, has there been any talk of the development of an electric WAVE vehicle in the years to come?
That's an excellent question. And I spoke with Toyota Corporate just at the auto show about a week ago or 2 weeks ago at this point. And they're looking into a variety of different options, different technologies that could leverage both the EV world and the wheelchair accessible vehicle world. There is no purpose-built vehicle like that yet, but they're definitely looking into it. Do you have anything to add, Cindy?
No, you got it. Thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners? I'd again like to recognize Beta V Decide for her work on this. She's in the room with us now. And I just want to reiterate my thanks for all of your support for small Medallion owners and connecting us with the Disability Opportunity Fund. Without your work on this, we wouldn't have gotten to today's vote. So thank you. Okay. And with that, I'll turn it over to our General Counsel, Cheryl Ludo, to take us through the agenda today.
Good morning, Commissioners. The first item before you are the minutes for the March 26, 2025 Commission meeting. I will call a vote now to adopt those minutes. All in favor of adopting the minutes for March 26, please raise your hands. Thank you. The vote was unanimous and the minutes are adopted. I will now call on our Director for Base and Business Services, Fabian Cancel, to present the base license applications.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Fabian Cancel. I'm the Director of Base Business Licensing at Long Island City. 9 bases have been submitted for your review, and we are awaiting your approval.
Commissioners, can we have a vote?
I have to
on
ask a
it?
question
Oops, I'm
about this.
sorry.
I know I ask you questions about these all the time because I always think that, kind of know what exactly impact this is having. So here we have 8, and these are all renewals.
Yes.
What does this all add up to relative to number of vehicles that are on the road? What does these 8 represent as far as number of vehicles on the road?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Each base is allowed to add as many vehicles as they wish to be able to maintain their operations. So these bases have to have a minimum of 10 vehicles or at least 5 if they have wheelchair accessibles. They're well within their rights to add significantly more.
So to get a base license, they must provide, or they have operational, at least 10, but there's no max.
No. The max comes into play when we start looking at high volume.
Right. So these represent a minimum of 80 vehicles on the road, but we have no idea really how many actually they do represent. Is that correct?
I think, Paul, we can get you information on
Yes.
all these. But so we do know, right?
Oh, we
I
do
think-
know.
I think,
Okay.
right now, off the top of Fabian's head, I don't think he has that data for you, but we can provide that data as part of this.
I'm just kind of
process.
curious whether it's 20 or 1,000, if you know what I mean, right?
And it could range, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
all these bases are community shops, right? With maybe just a few vehicles to those that affiliate with the high volume industry, which could range up to 80,000. So it's a big range.
And the new one, what's the story with the new one?
They're actually just trying to get into business like the rest of the delivery.
And where are they
industry.
located?
I don't have that information on me at this time. I believe it was in the executive summaries. I can have that shared with you later.
Okay, because I mean, one of the concerns we have, which is one of the reasons, and one of the reasons why for hire vehicles are so popular in certain places, is there was, for so many years, there were underserved communities and underserved neighborhoods in the city of New York, and one of the services that these bases were known to provide was they did provide taxi service in these underserved neighborhoods, especially many in my my borough or county of Queens. And I'd just be curious as to where American Express Limo is going to provide service. Thank you.
And in addition to that, and to support our community car services, I know that we were able to vote last time on the COVID-19 recovery bill that was imposed by the state legislature. And so that could potentially put another up to about 2,000 plus vehicles on the road to support those community car
No, we were
bases.
all happy to do that last time. Yes. Thank you.
All right, Commissioners, can we have a vote on adopting the base license recommendations? All in favor of adoption, please raise your hands. Thank you. The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Fabian. Commissioners, we will now turn to item 5A on the agenda, the Vision Zero and Fitness Revocation Hearings Roll Package. The proposed rules were published in the City Record on February 7th, 2025 for public comment. A public hearing was held by the TLC on March 12th. On April 25th, the final version of the proposed rule was posted on our website and circulated to the Commissioners, along with the hearing transcript and all written comments that were received. Commissioners, may we move for a vote? All those in favor of adopting the rule as amended, please raise your hand. Thank you. The vote is unanimous and the rule is adopted. We'll now turn to item 6A on the agenda, the resolution to approve the pilot program that Cindi Davidson just described, allowing for disability opportunity fund loans to Medallion owners. The proposed resolution was posted on our website and distributed to the Commissioners on April 25th. May we move for a vote? All those in favor of adopting the resolution, please raise your hands. And the vote is unanimous. Thank you. Commissioner Doe, any additional business?
Are there any other comments from our commissioners before we proceed? All right. Well, again, this has been, I think, an incredibly important day for our small Medallion owners. And so I just want to thank the commission for their hard work, their support, and to keep our roadways a lot safer. And so your work is contributing to an overall healthy industry and a healthy environment for all roadway users. And so with that, I want to thank you all. And the time is now 10:33, and I'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you.